This course has been about finding some new chords and just getting more comfortable with some really basic chords. So we didn't look at, for the most part, really cool outre chords. And we also addressed chords that would fit certain kinds of pieces, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the number one thing that you do when you go to harmonize a piece. And right now, often you get the Barnes book with stuff in, but then later on you're going to hand the pieces on the fly. Here's the music. Okay, audience, listen to the music. And so you have to just very quickly do it. So what are some of the things, and let's just review what you said yesterday, that, and I'll say the first thing is look at the piece and see what land of harmony it's living in. It's not Macedonia, which still is somewhat traditional, actually, in some ways, but also is more folk traditional. Anyway, so look what land the piece is in. What else? That conflict or something, danger or something exciting. And then you get to the cliff top, is that going to happen? And then it resolves. Okay, so look for the moments where things are ramping up and look for moments where things resolve. And some tunes don't ramp up. Some tunes just stay the same the whole time, like Philip Glass. But we have a lot of country dance tunes that are just, okay, we're here, we're mellow, we're zoned. It's the closest I ever could come to smoking pot, which I don't smoke, but I think it would be the same thing. You're there. But most tunes do have that drama. You're looking for it, and so part of your job as harmonists, when you start getting your own creative juices going with that, is although we could fly in a chord from outer space, and that doesn't. Sometimes that works. But it's also, does this chord help ramp it up, or does it help resolve? Does that make sense? And you might not agree on everything, but that's worth it. So, on the one you mentioned, what's the most complex, what's the most ramped up harmony there?
The 1/6/4.
Yeah. So when you're resolving it, just feel that and often I use in-breath there. The more you can convey to your audience, even without a huge palette of chords, the more you can convey, get a load of that chord, get a load of this dramatic moment. This is where all the focus is, yeah, so that's a key thing. You have this tune, what are things you can draw on without, even if you feel like, oh, I don't know a lot of fancy chords, but what can you already draw on? Even
if there's an accidental in the piece.
Yeah, so look for an accidental, and that might be our friend. What?
5 or 5.
That might be 5/5 or some kind of secondary dominant. Okay.
Transitory modulation.
And with regard to that, I'm suggesting in your post-camp life, we're going to actually do some work, but it's just sort of a summing up of some of the things we're talking about. We did a lot of exercises. It's not been the most music-making class. We've been doing exercises. It's the boot camp, harmonic boot camp. But I think that will help you just find the chords when you're on the fly. If you've done those exercises. That's my sense. It's not the only way to find them, and they're not the only chords that you're going to need to find, but it will give you some, and it also will really ground you in your scale. And if you can learn to do those in every scale. Yeah, and eventually once you get it, you're going to, you know, but that's the root of what you're doing. And you can also take away, we can, instead of 1, 6, 2, 5, we could go 1, 1, 2, 5. You usually don't take, so here's our 5 on the hill there. 2 is coming up, 6 is before that. You don't usually play that stuff and then make up other stuff up and then play the 5. Usually you might make other stuff up and then 2, 5. It's sort of the turn signal before you get to the 5. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying always, but once you get these progressions, it's like a slide going home. You can jump on the slide. Have you ever been to a playground where there's a slide and you can jump on here? I've got grandsons. Or you can jump on halfway for the kiddies, you know, like they don't have to do the whole slide. That's kind of what this is, yeah. Because now here's our second part of the tune. It's this part I want to talk about. Tell me about that part. So here's our sequence you just learned yesterday, so it's not really deeply ingrained in you, but here is 5 of 1 going to 1, 5 of 2 going to 2, 5 of 3 going to 3, 5 of 4 going to 4. Tell me the name of the chord. G7 to C. Now 5 of 5 going to 5. E7 going to D. So look at this section. We're down here.
Five of 5 there going to
yeah,
to 5. Sure.
Bingo, bravissimo. Yeah. And that can lead to, I bet Robin's done this, is a walking bass. Makes sense? Have you done that before? You might have done it before. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or or you can just sit on that. I'm going to sit on that in the root. Here you go. Let me do it again. And so if you're going to do something like that, make it a command. Here we go. And that can be a point of inflection in your harmony. Does that sort of make sense? All these things are right, including what you did. They're all correct. I'm just doing it a little more standard. But now I'm going to take it to the first inversion, and I'm not going to walk it up. I'm just going to stay there. And that's that squiggly bass line that you can get. Does that make sense? So often that first inversion can just get you in. This is a very simple situation, but so if you want to have some movement happening there, it might not be harmonic movement. You can make melodic movement or rhythm movement, or you can just sit on it. Here we go. Yeah, it flies back, you know. Silence, and because it's you can look at the dance and see if that warrants it, but also it's such a cool melodic thing that it's sort of highlighting it. Does that make sense? So here we're talking about
and here
highlighting.
together, right? We're talking about that.
But we could go, and then when you get sort of slide, we haven't talked about that. We could insert another chromatic. On those chromatic notes, you can be really
What were we
witchy,
just
you know.
playing, Tim?
And also, tell me what I'm doing here. We hardly got to this, but just starting here.
Okay. And
can you do me a 2-up piece? That would be great. What the heck was that?
half diminished 7?
Half diminished. And that can come when you're in the first inversion. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. Do you want to hear diminish? Let's see what happens.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Keep trying to
Spooky. Yeah.
yeah.
But it might be the right moment on the dance floor, and maybe you're in a Halloween dance. So, yeah, do you want to play a little bit of it? Sure. Well, I'm gonna let you just do it. So. Opportunity for a cadence that I didn't talk about, which is called a deceptive cadence. And you know about it, you know about it, but maybe new to you.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to say what a deceptive cadence is? There you go.
Yeah, normally in a cadence, for a cadence you go from 5 back to 1.
Right.
In a deceptive cadence, you trick out the listener. Instead of going back to 1, you go to some other key, usually 6, or some other chord, usually 6. So in G, instead of going back to G, we would go to E minor.
So it happens in a lot of Scottish songs. So here we have close to the end. If there were no Barnes chords here and you were a beginner, you'd say G, 1 chord.
But I would say E minor.
But you would say E minor, good, because you've got the ears, as we said, and that's a deceptive cadence. So it makes sense. And again, you call it a crushed banana as far as my teacher, but it's that feeling of we thought we were going to 1, but we didn't. So at that moment, that could be a secondary dominant alert. So we're landing on that E. What would be anybody want to take a stab at? So what would be the 5 of E minor? B, 5.
Yeah, B major.
So, and here I'm going to stick it in really fast because we have a D. And we probably don't want to be bluesy. So I'm going to wait till the third. Come on over so you can see this.
It has to be minor.
So I'm going to wait till I get to this note before I add it. And I'm going to sneak it in with the first inversion.
And the clouds part and the sun place.
That's right here.
Yeah.
Who knows how to play the accordion. There were like those birthday cakes that have gazillion roses on them. I wouldn't use all of them, but when you're first learning them, use them all. Just use them all. And keep on doing your regularly scheduled thing that you're already doing. But then if you get curious, you can do extra effort at home and find stuff. And then eventually you won't even have to do it by extra effort. It will just happen. And maybe it will still, even if you don't do the extra effort now, just by having, like, in Alice in Wonderland, Alice meet roast beef meet, it'll just start happening.